At the edge of time, where galaxies drift like fading lanterns into an endless night, lies the most haunting destiny of all. Imagine the stars, every sun that ever burned, slowly dimming one by one until the universe itself is left in silence. No warmth, no light, only a vast, expanding darkness stretching farther than thought itself. This is not the violence of fire or the collapse of matter. It is the slow unraveling of everything, the quiet suffocation of reality itself. The nightmare of eternal expansion is a story of scale beyond comprehension. It is space stretching thinner and colder with every heartbeat of cosmic time. Galaxies torn apart until they are lonely islands. Atoms themselves trembling on the edge of disintegration. Even the faintest whispers of energy will scatter until nothing remains but a uniform frost of emptiness. And yet, in this distant horizon of doom, lies a profound truth about the nature of existence. To grasp it is to glimpse the final chapter of the cosmos. Tonight, we journey into the heat death of reality, the ultimate silence awaiting creation itself. Will you step into the darkness? Out there, beyond the reach of every telescope, lies a future so vast and so quiet it defies imagination. Picture the stars you know, the blazing suns of the night sky, extinguished one by one until their glow becomes a fading memory against an ever-growing ocean of black. The universe, once a storm of light and fire, drifts toward a silence colder than anything we can touch or name. This is not the sudden violence of collapse, nor the fury of explosion. It is the slow unraveling of existence itself. From the moment of the Big Bang, expansion has been the rhythm of the cosmos. Space itself stretches, pulling galaxies apart like leaves scattered on a widening stream. The more it grows, the thinner the light becomes, the weaker the warmth. What was once vibrant and dense now races toward emptiness, leaving behind only the faint echoes of creation. But within this quiet march lies a paradox. The same force that gave birth to galaxies, stars, and life may also be the architect of their end. Expansion does not stop, it accelerates, and if it never ceases, if the universe forever races outward, then even eternity will not be enough to escape its consequence. What does it mean for everything we know when time itself is stretched toward silence? In the beginning, expansion was gentle. Galaxies clustered together, stars ignited, and matter sculpted the familiar constellations that still hang above us. But the deeper we look into the fabric of space, the more unsettling the truth becomes. Expansion is not slowing, it is quickening, driven by a mysterious pressure we cannot see or touch. Scientists call it dark energy, yet the name is only a placeholder for our ignorance. Imagine it as an invisible hand, prying galaxies farther and farther apart. No force we know can resist it. Gravity once held sway, binding stars and planets in cosmic webs, but now this hidden energy pulls stronger than the chains of attraction. The result is isolation. One by one, galaxies slip beyond reach, vanishing into horizons from which their light will never return. What began as creation's greatest gift, space itself, may be the instrument of its undoing. And the more we measure, the more inevitable it seems. An infinite stretching with no boundary, no pause, no mercy. If the universe itself is racing away from us, what fate awaits the fragile lights still burning in the dark? Consider what this expansion means for the stars themselves. For billions of years, fusion has been their heartbeat, hydrogen compressed into helium, light poured into the dark. Yet fuel is finite. One by one, stars will exhaust their reserves, fading into white embers, collapsing into dense corpses of matter. Red giants will swell and vanish. Supernovae will flare and fall silent. In time, even the brightest galaxies will resemble graveyards of cold, abandoned suns. Our night sky, once a tapestry of fire, will lose its brilliance. The constellations that guided ancient travelers, the glowing bands of the Milky Way, all will dim into obscurity. Galaxies will drift farther apart until no light bridges the void. To future observers, if any still remain, the universe will appear empty, featureless, stripped of its history. And yet this is only the beginning of decline. Beyond the death of stars lies a deeper erosion, one that gnaws not at galaxies or suns, but at the very foundation of matter itself. What happens when even the smallest particles cannot endure? At the heart of this nightmare lies a quiet, invisible decay. Protons, the building blocks of every atom, every stone, every breath, are not guaranteed eternal life. Some theories suggest that given enough time, even they will break apart, dissolving into radiation too weak to warm even the emptiest void. If true, the universe itself is destined to be dismantled grain by grain, until nothing solid remains. Picture the cosmos then, a vast, silent ocean, where stars no longer shine and atoms no longer cling together. Black holes, once the gluttons of galaxies, will be among the final titans to remain. Yet even they cannot defy eternity. Through a slow evaporation known as Hawking radiation, they too will fade, spilling their mass into the void until not even darkness has a center. In this vision of the far future, creation is not destroyed by fire or violence, but by dilution. Everything spreads thinner, weaker, colder, until energy itself is smeared into uniform silence. But is this the end of the story, or merely the stage for an even more haunting truth? To grasp the scale of this fate, we must stretch our minds across unimaginable spans of time. Stars live for billions of years, yet the timeline of eternal expansion is measured in trillions, quadrillions, even numbers so vast they eclipse human language. On that scale, the rise and fall of civilizations, even the lifetime of galaxies, becomes nothing more than the blink of an eye. In those distant eons, the universe will not be a place of light, but of remnants. Neutron stars and white dwarfs cooling into black, silent cinders. Black holes shrinking to nothing over aeons upon aeons, a cosmos where silence is not the absence of sound, but the very fabric of existence. And yet, the laws that drive this fate remain the same laws that once carved beauty into chaos. Gravity, fusion, quantum decay, all threads of the same tapestry. The question is not whether they end the story, but whether there is anything left to read when the last page turns. What does a universe look like when its book is still open, but the ink has faded away? For humanity, this vision is almost unbearable, yet it carries a strange intimacy. We are creatures of warmth and light, born from the ashes of ancient stars. Our bodies are built of elements forged in their fiery hearts. To imagine their silence is to imagine the silence of ourselves. In a universe without stars, there is no place for life to take root, no cradle for thought, no stage for memory. And still, our species dares to ask. We build telescopes to peer into the darkness, equations to forecast its destiny. We confront an ending that will not come in our time, or in 1,000 generations, but in an age so vast it dwarfs imagination. Yet by looking outward, we are forced to look inward. What does it mean to exist briefly against the certainty of eternity? It is here, in this tension between our fleeting lives and the infinite horizon, that the nightmare of eternal expansion becomes more than science. It becomes a mirror, for in contemplating the death of reality, we are really asking, What is the meaning of a life destined to flicker out in the cold? The nightmare deepens when we follow expansion to its ultimate consequence. If dark energy continues its relentless push, not only galaxies, but the very fabric of space may tear apart. This scenario, known as the Big Rip, envisions a universe where nothing holds. First galaxies dissolve, then stars are unbound, then planets are ripped from their orbits. Finally, even atoms themselves are stretched until their bonds snap, leaving only fragments adrift in a storm of infinite separation. Whether reality ends in a slow heat death or in the violence of a rip, the conclusion is the same: isolation, absolute. No bridges of light, no whispers of gravity, no memory of the fire that once filled the sky. A cosmos emptied not by catastrophe, but by inevitability. And yet, even this is not the final frontier of thought. Beyond the horizon of decay lies a question more unsettling still. Can nothingness itself endure forever? Physicists wrestle with this riddle. Is the heat death truly eternal, or is it only another chapter in a cycle we cannot yet see? Some theories whisper of quantum fluctuations, tiny tremors in the void that, over inconceivable spans of time, could spark new beginnings. Out of the silence, a new burst of creation. Out of the ashes, another Big Bang. If so, our universe may not be the end, but a single breath in a larger cosmic rhythm. Others argue the silence is final, that expansion smooths all possibility into uniform stillness, no sparks, no rebirth, only a universe frozen in place, expanding endlessly into a future that never changes. This vision carries a strange duality, an infinite horizon where nothing happens, yet time continues without end. Whichever fate awaits, both are haunting. One promises rebirth from nothingness, the other, a silence that never breaks. But perhaps the more profound question is not which is true, but how we, brief sparks of thought, choose to live under their shadow. We are, after all, the universe made conscious. Out of collapsing stars came the elements of our blood, the iron in our veins, the calcium in our bones. Out of chaos came order, and from that order came thought. To stand here and ponder the fate of everything is itself a triumph of cosmic improbability. Yet that triumph is temporary. Against the vast clock of the cosmos, we are a fleeting moment, a single note in an endless silence. And still, within that fleetingness lies something powerful. For while the universe stretches toward emptiness, we hold the ability to shape meaning, to ignite fire against the cold. Our stories, our discoveries, our questions, all are acts of defiance against inevitability. They remind us that while eternity may belong to the void, the present belongs to us. The nightmare of eternal expansion does not strip life of significance. Instead, it sharpens it. To know the darkness is coming is to feel the light more vividly. But even this truth leaves us with one last question. What does it mean for reality itself when even time may lose its grip? Time, as we know it, is bound to change. In a universe stripped of energy, with no events left to mark its passage, time itself may lose meaning. Seconds, hours, and years are human inventions, anchored to cycles of movement. Planets around stars, atoms in vibration. But in the endless stillness of heat death, there is no rhythm left to measure. Time stretches without purpose, an unbroken plane with no signposts, no boundaries, no end. Here lies the most haunting vision of all, existence without change, reality without story. A cosmos where the curtain has fallen, but the stage remains, silent and untouched, forever. It is not an ending in fire or collapse, but an ending in waiting, an eternity that drifts on, featureless and cold. And yet, Even this final silence carries a strange poetry, for in its inevitability, it reminds us of the fragile miracle of now, the brief window where the universe burns, sings, and dreams through us. We are the fleeting flare before the eternal night, and perhaps, in that flare, lies all the meaning we will ever need.